the first things I did was, to create some mechanism that we call states, and that we label into music states. So one, for example, for each music for different maps. For example, different maps that we will explore as a player. And also, we created states that will allow us to change the music. For example, if we are just exploring, or if we are in combat, or if we are, for example, playing at night inside the game. So those mechanisms allow us to switch music segments and to switch and to trigger different music assets. So how can we create that? Of course, we can go into our work unit and create a state group. And then inside the state group, we can create different states that we will label properly. And then we just need to create the music switch container. And there is several one, but let's focus on the map transition. And inside map transition, we see that we will switch we will switch between different music inside the game when we are exploring, for example, mountain and lake. And how can we set up this mechanism to work? It's pretty simple. We will just need to add different paths. For example, lake and active, mountain and active, and then we will be able to create different transition to that. For example, how will be my transition between the lake music, the mountain music, for example, and the lake music, and then the lake music to the mountain music. And of course, the source will exit at next bar, for example, but we can choose next grid, next beat, next cue, next exit cue, or immediately. Would we want to have a fade out when we will exit the queue? Do we want to use a transition segment? Do we want to start directly the playlist, or play a specific item, for example? And do we have a fade in with this music cue? Another mechanism that we did, it's also for the combat music inside the game, and it's the same, almost the same work. We have pass and we have transition here, and we transition from map to combat immediately, and from combat to map using a transition segment which is called a combat hand. So let's test those mechanisms by using our transport, and I will leave you with that, with listening some music, and maybe I will do some different adjustment during your listening. And so the first thing I need to do in my control transport is to set up, of course, all the states to play the music. So let's start to play, for example, the lake music, because let's imagine that we are playing close to a lake. And let's play. And now let's switch to the mountain. All right, of course I can work more on those transition. And let's now trigger combat. And let's go back to map and so end the combat. Switch again to lake. Nice. All right. The only thing I want to rectify a little bit, I think it's the transition between the combat and to go back to an exploratory states for the player. Because I think it's a bit long and there is a pause in the music, and that's maybe not desirable. So let's go back to our... I think the problem is maybe my exit cue, you know, of combat end, that is maybe too long. So let's zoom out, and yeah, of course, maybe it's a better idea to maybe start the, I don't know, let's say 1 bar. Yeah, 1 bar will be okay to transition with maybe 1 bar and a half. So to transition again with map transition. And let's test that again. So let's start with lake. Let's encounter an enemy. And let's end the battle and go to the lake again. Oh, sorry. End the battle and go to the lake again. Yeah, I think that's better. Let's do it again. Maybe mountain. Combat. Kill the enemy. And go back to mountain. Yeah, that's really great.
Thanks for watching and see you for your next project.